Welcome to this haunted edition of the 6873 show, Halloween. Today we'll be doing a special episode telling ghost stories. So join us on this spectacular episode. We'll have a few things at the end of it, so stay tuned and try not to die. So starting our story tonight is Rossi.
Hello, and good evening. The story I'm going to tell tonight is called The Ghost of Oxford Milford Road. When Brad Culp was a student at Miami University in Oxford, Ohio, there was a rumor that the town was one of the most haunted places in America. When Culp started on Purpose magazine, he couldn't wait to write about several of his area's most famous phantoms. Not long after his story published, though, he kept finding himself thinking about one ghost in particular, the ghost of Oxford Milford Road. As this story goes, many decades ago, probably sometime around the 1940s, there was a young man courting a young woman in a rural part of town. Because the woman's parents didn't approve of the match, each night he visited her after her parents went to bed. The young woman would sneak out of her farmhouse and flash the lights of her parents' car 3 times. Then her young suitor would ride his motorcycle down the road. One night he took a turn right before her house, a little too sharp. The motorcycle went one way and he went the other. His injuries were so severe that he did not survive. Rumour has it, however, that this love-struck ghost still haunts the stretch of Milford Road. Curious, Culp, his girlfriend, now his wife, and his friend decided to head out there one night to see if they could verify his tale. His girlfriend was worried she'd be completely freaked out. She believes more in that stuff than I do, Culp says. But he was mostly concerned that his suspicions that none of this was actually true would be confirmed. On this particular night, as Culp passed the abandoned farm, an idea came to him. And he pitched it to his girlfriend. Though reluctant, she relented, and Culp turned a short way into a farmhouse driveway. He killed the engine and flashed the lights 3 times. No joke, there was a single headlight that appeared 3/4 of a mile down the road. Culp says, "You saw that start to come, going pretty slow. It kept coming and coming. My wife was freaked out. It was coming closer and closer as a collision seemed imminent." Culp turned on his car headlights. He expected to see a kid on a bike bailing out from his prank now that he'd been caught, but there was nothing there. There was light, it just gone, he says. They got out of the car and walked around, trying to figure out what it was they could have seen. To this day, they still talk about it. "I saw something I cannot explain," he says. If you get him and his wife around a campfire, they'll swear up and down that the story is true. And if you're ever in Oxford, Ohio, consider parking just a few minutes on Oxford Milford Road at night and test your own nerve.
Okay, I want to go road trip. Road trip.
Yes.
What's even funnier, I actually have a family member that lives up there and actually lives really close to that lane.
Really?
Nice.
That is true. That is 100% true. I've heard so many stories from them just seeing headlights.
Really?
Let's get them to try it.
Nothing.
Yes, definitely.
Nothing is there. But it was a truck. It was a Ford F-150 it's an early 50s model. It just round headlights. That's all you could see.
Really? Oh, that's
Yes.
cool.
Excellent.
It was weird. Ooh, it's giving me chills.
Scared. Toki,
Okay.
do you have an amazing story of death for us?
I do, actually.
Don't
This
kill
one
me,
is called
please.
This. I try not to. But as you see, fire doesn't hurt me. Apparently. Yeet. Okay, so this one is called The New Old House. We bought an old house, my boyfriend and I. He's in charge of the new construction, converting the kitchen into the master bedroom, for instance, while I'm on wallpaper removal duty. The previous owner papered every wall and ceiling. Removing it is a brutal but oddly satisfying. Is brutal but oddly satisfying. That's what I was about to say. The best feeling is getting a long peel, similar to your skin when you're peeling from a sunburn. I don't know about you, but I kinda make a game of peeling. On the hunt for the longest piece before it rips. Under a corner section of paper in every room, a person's name is a person's name and date. Curiosity got the best of me one night when I googled one of the names and discovered the person was actually a missing person. The missing date matching the date under the wallpaper. The next day, I made a list of all the names and dates. Sure enough, each name was a missing person with dates to match. We notified the police, who naturally sent out a crime scene team. I overheard one text say, "Yep, it's human." Human? What human? What's human, ma'am? Where is the material you removed from the wall already? This isn't wallpaper you're removing.
Does human flesh actually have good argon? Can you imagine how that place would smell?
Well, if you properly,
Scientifically, if done,
yeah, if done correctly, it would actually cause no stink or any kind of
Scientifically,
thing.
Why are we trying to
scientifically, if surgically,
theorize that?
no, scientifically,
I'm gonna
if
be-
surgically done correctly, you can get multiple layers out of one load of skin.
Yeah, okay, we don't
So-
talk about skin
I'm
peels
going to be-
right now. It was supposed to be a horror story.
I'm going to be building my home very soon, and I know exactly what I want to insulate it with. What?
Yeah.
Okay. Next in line?
Friends gone psycho.
This one is actually my eyewitness as well. This is my eyewitness as well. I live in a town where these 3 or 4 know where I live. And the place I'm talking about is Camp Helen State Park, also known as the locals as Suicide Park. This was in early 2007-2006. Me and my family were walking through the woods and we noticed a car. It was pretty well aged. It was covered in a little bit of mold. We just looked at it as like, the person never came back to get their vehicle, probably got too drunk. 30 minutes down the walking path, even though it was old and decayed, nothing was left, not even a footprint. We stumbled upon a tent. Not just a tent, Oh, hello. Come to me. Come on. Okay. We stumbled upon a tent. A empty tent with people's personal belongings. And a set of car keys. We thought nothing of it. We thought they were just out hiking or just out enjoying the scenery, since it is technically beachfront. Then we walked a little further. We hear a distant scream. Sounded like a male in his late 40s. And we look over to the direction. All we saw was a head. A head. A early male's in his 20s head. Just sitting there. Looked like it hasn't decayed a day. Now, this is where it gets a little dark. To the point of blood and gore. If you are not a fan of that, please forgive me. We walk further down the lane. We see a dismembered foot, a leg, and a torso. And at this point, I was freaking out. My mother looked at me and said, "Do not walk any further." Walking back past the camping site, I looked at the key fob, and it matched the vehicle that's been sitting for a very long time. And whenever the investigators came by, saw the date on the license, 1993.
Huh?
Last registered receipt in the wallet.
That's creepy. And it hadn't decayed?
Last registered. Not that they've seen. But this is where it gets a little tricky. We walk past it, and then we start hearing footsteps. Someone saying, "Hey, come here." And I thought nothing of it. I thought it was a ranger. And I turn around, and it was a ghost. The ghost of the man. Wondering where he was. He was confused. He doesn't know where he was. And as soon as we turned around after hearing his footsteps, gone. Nothing left.
Oh, that's creepy.
There was no campsite. There was no campsite. There was no bodies. There was no members. And there was nothing left. And that
That's
concludes my story.
Damn.
The bad thing is I've actually heard stuff like that happening a lot, like what they call time slipping and stuff, or dimensional slipping.
Basically, whenever a soul is lost in one space of time, it transports to another dimension.
Limbo.
And that's probably what we expected, especially seeing all
Purgatory.
the stuff.
Purgatory.
Purgatory.
And now
That's creepy.
the story moves on to you.
Bum bum bum.
Well, my story takes
that,
place.
That doesn't make it more scary, okay? I'm sorry, but
I kind of piddled a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
Shut up.
You're a mouse. You got the bladder the size of a fucking wheat. It's like a wheat grain. Right, moving
Heal.
on. My story takes place out on the sunny coast of California, as where a gentleman was hiking and suddenly lost his footing on the trail and went over a cliff. he was stuck there for about 3-4 days before a call came in to the LAPD for a rescue, that he'd gone over the edge, broken his leg, and he doesn't know whereabouts he is. Search and rescue went on for a number of hours before they came to a hiking trail and decided to scale down to find out if the hiker was down there. Going down further, they came across a small cave on the edge of the cliff where they found human remains, all skeletal. Must have been there at least 3 years, exposed to the elements. Next to it was a cell phone. They thought nothing of it. They continued searching for the hiker. So a few meters further down, they found him. Broken leg, few injuries to his head and back. They airlifted him to safety and said that it's lucky that he had his phone, otherwise he wouldn't have made it. But he soon told them that he didn't have his phone, he'd lost it. It smashed on the cliffside and went over into the sea. After they exhumed the human remains, they pieced it together to find that lost soul had broken their leg and had fractured their skull.
They died the same way?
So if the hiker's phone went over the cliff and into the sea, who made the phone call to the LAPD?
Jesus.
Oh, that's creepy.
And you know the scary part? This is actually based on a true story.
Damn.
That's creepy. Oh, it makes
All right,
sense looking out for your fellow hikers.
It's your turn.
I'm scared now. I'm scared. So this story comes all the way from Ireland, and it's actually why we carve the jack-o'-lanterns. So long time ago, there was this vile person who lived in Ireland called Jack. Crazy Jack, Mad Jack. He was widely known, Stinky Jack. He was widely known to be a vile person. He robbed, he stole, he did everything. He was a mad drunkard. It was one day, coming from, or should I say stumbling from the pub on his way home. He was going down a dark path, and all of a sudden, to the side, he seen 2 red spheres. And Jack kind of came into a little bit of himself and looked at it, and started walking towards it. And out of the darkness, you could see a skeleton emerge. And all of a sudden, he seen the orbs in the eyes. And what the bad part was, is the skeleton turned and looked at Jack. Said, I have been waiting for you. The skeleton all of a sudden took form, and the devil himself was standing before Stinky Jack, and says, "Come with me. It is time for you to come with me to hell for all of your sins." And Jack, being the type he was, says, before I go, you're dragging me to hell. Can I please have a last drink? The pub's just up the road. And the devil saying, well, I am dragging you to hell one last time. Allowed him to go to the pub. The devil followed him. And they had his last drink. And says, I have no change. And since you're dragging me to hell, at least you can do with pay for it. And the devil thought, you're right. I'm dragging you to hell. I can pay for your last drink. But I have a problem. I have no coin. I have no money. And Jack says, not a problem. I tell you what, you're the devil himself. You can change into anything and do anything. Change into a silver, and I will pay the man with silver, and then afterwards you can change it back to yourself and walk away. And you can claim my soul, and we'll go happily on our way to hell. The devil thought, that's a good plan. So he changed into a silver right there on the table. Jack picked up the coin, put it in his pocket right by his cross, and walked out the door. Since he was by the cross, the devil was held helpless. He couldn't change, he couldn't do anything. And he was held in that coin form. And he says, I tell you what, I will let you go. I will let the devil himself free if you don't come for me for 10 years. And the devil with his arms crossed says, I have no choice. I'll give you your bargain. You let me loose, I won't come for your soul for another 10 years. Well, of course, being Stinky Jack, 10 years went by very, very, very fast. Nothing changed with him. He had made no attempt to correct his evil ways. And 10 years flew by. And all of a sudden, Jack heard a knock on the door. Jack opened the door and says, do you remember our deal? It is time for you to come with me to hell. As Jack looked up at him and says, you're right. I made the deal. It is time for me to go to hell. But before you go, I want one last favor. Since you are dragging me to the pit of hell, I have a favorite apple tree out there, and I want just the taste of one apple before I burn in hell for all of eternity. This is the devil being annoyed with this is, okay, I'll allow you one last apple before I drag you to the pit of hell. And Jack went over and says, there's the apple I want. It's high in the tree, but I have no ladder or a way to get to it. Could you get me that apple? The devil, clearly annoyed, says, I am not your butler, but since I am dragging you to the pit of hell, I will get you this one last apple. So the devil changed his form. Up the tree he went, and while he wasn't looking, Jack peppered the whole tree with small silver cross. The devil couldn't get down. Says, I am trapped here. How am I supposed to get down? And Jack says, you can't unless I release you. But I'll make one more deal with you, devil. You never come for my soul again, and I will set the devil himself free. The devil, clearly annoyed, spat in anger and says, okay, I have no choice. Set me free, and I will never come for your soul again. And having the devil's promise, he parted the crosses, and the devil went free, clearly mad at this person for tricking him. He made no amends, went his entire life, and soon one day, Jack found himself dead. Since the devil wouldn't have him, the only place he went was to the gates of heaven. And he was greeted at the gates of heaven and says, you are a sinner, you are a vile person. Stinky Jack, you are not welcome here. Sends him straight down to the pit of hell himself. The devil sat on his throne and says, I've been waiting for you. But we made a deal. You can't go to heaven, and you can't come to hell. But I will give you a reminder of your deal. He picked up a piece of burning brimstone and gave it to Stinky Jack and sent him back to Earth, forever to walk the earth as a disembodied spirit, trapped between heaven and hell. And of course, he couldn't carry the brimstone because it was so hot. So he put it in a small, at the time, gourd with holes in it, so he could walk the earth, so that everyone else could be warned of the deals that he made and to not follow his tracks. And at night and every Halloween, if you go out and you see someone walking with a jack-o'-lantern, it is a reminder of the deals you made and just lead a clean life. Because you yourself may be cursed to walk the earth forever with your jack-o'-lantern.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Now, is there
Scary.
anybody here that has an extra story they want to tell?
No, as I said earlier, the only real scary story is when a parent walks into the child's bedroom and the room is clean. What's wrong with the child?
That is scary right there.
It's so
Well, if
true.
nobody has that, I have a short one.
Go for it.
This is called the clown statue. A babysitter has
like
been
clowns.
hired to watch 2 children for the night. After
That
she
is
puts the kids to bed, the parents ask that she watches TV in their bedroom upstairs because the children have been having nightmares recently. She puts the kids to bed easily enough and settles in the parents' room to watch TV. But in a corner of the room, there's a large, creepy clown statue about life-sized. She tries to ignore it, but it's just too creepy. Finally, she calls the dad to ask if she can watch TV downstairs instead. Sure, but why, he asks. She tells him that this clown statue is just creeping her out too much. There's a pause. Get the children and leave the house, says the dad. We don't have a clown statue.
Oh,
That is creepy.
that is creepy.
So, I actually
Fucking hell,
have
Rosie.
something. So, strange thing.
Jump there, you bastard.
Yes.
Nice.
But
So,
there's a choice between that one or where's it gone?
Shut your hole, or I'll fill it.
Yeah, I'd rather have the scream than the baby.
yes, Scream is way better.
Good. Yeah.
So, one little quick last one. Who here knows what a Debix Box is?
A what?
So, a Debix Box is actually comes from the Jewish tradition of taking an evil spirit and then binding it to a box or an object. And this one time, I'm kind of an eBay nut, and I was actually working at a ski resort at the time. And I like to collect weird things, and this one, most of the stuff you see on eBay is just computer, tripe, whatever. But this one said that his son used to collect Debix boxes, and he was forced to actually, like, he would research them, change them out, and actually collect real Debix boxes. And I was like, yeah, whatever. So I placed a bid on one because I was just kind of curious. They looked cool. And I won a Debix box. And I got it. It was all purred and stuff like that. It was all sealed off, and I put it on my counter in the little cabin I was living in. I was actually roommating with another person. And he came home and says, something here feels different. What's different here? It feels colder than normal. And I said, oh, yeah, check out my cool Debix box. And I explained what a Debix box was and stuff like that. Every day, he would say, I hear the voice in there. I hear the girl that's talking to me. And I actually, sometimes I'd walk in there and I would hear this lady talking. And it got so bad that he would get off work. He wouldn't say a word to anyone. Every day it almost became a tradition, and it kind of freaked me out. Every day he would walk in, would not say a word directly to the Debix box. He would touch the Debix box just to make sure that everything was okay and it was still there. And he would just sit there and hold it for the longest time, just putting his hand on it. And he says, I hear her. She speaks to me every night. And it was like that until I actually left. And you could just see this change in him. He was so concerned with the welfare of that Debix box and the person in it. And he never really got over caring for that Debix box the entire time that we were there. And the entire time that we were there, he still claims to this day that the girl used to speak to him every night.
And manipulate spirit.
Mm-hmm. Got inside his head. Well, does anyone else have?
Do you still have
So-
sight contact with them?
Not for about 2 years. He stopped hearing the voice after I left, and he left. And he said after he left, he just felt different. He felt like he was missing something, like he needed to come back for something. Never knew what it was. And but he still swears that he used to hear the voice of the person every night talking to him.
Now, Ren, I have a question. Did you ever
Yes.
open the Debix
Nope.
box?
Nope.
Good.
Mhm.
Good. You still have the Debix box.
No, one of my friends when I went back to the Lake Powell was all into mysterious stuff. So my friend, just to give you an idea, he used to go out and collect skulls and bits of dead things and make things out of them. So I said, you know what? I have the perfect gift for you. I gave him the Debix Box, and it sat on his desk for the whole year, and I never really heard from him again.
You say your friend used to make things out of dead things. Is he trying his hand at necromancy?
I think so. But he used to get like old cow skulls and cow parts and stuff like that and make walking sticks and stuff out of it. It's like,
he's not going to make Man Bear Pig, is he?
Man Bear Pig.
That might have came across. Yes.
I will say one thing that's always sticking with me, and I don't know why, is like when I walk certain places or like I don't know why. It doesn't even have to be dark or scary or anything. All of a sudden I have this feeling like somebody's watching me. Like you feel those kind of eyes. It's just like somebody's watching me. Or I have a feeling
And
like
that's how Camp Helen is.
You look so happy.
And that's exactly how Camp Helen is.
Camp Helen?
There could be nowhere. It's a literal place. It's a literal place here in my town. And it's like the American version of Suicide Forest in Japan.
Oh, God.
Dang.
Here we have the
Suicide
hills
The hills have eyes.
down to the ocean. Well, more like sand hills. And we actually had some people in our area that committed suicide up in the hills. Not very far from where I live.
Well, Suicide Hill, the only thing is, I heard it's such a beautiful place. I mean, people go there, they just die for it.
Oh, come on, Red. Jesus.
Oh, dear.
Alrighty.
That was both dark and bad.
I hope you
dear.
cut that shit out. Given that the last episode we have.
Yes.
It's a tie-in. It's a tie-in. So does anyone else have
a
any?
lighter story?
Yes.
Something more of a happy ending.
Well, I have plans to do something else, but hey, we can do that too.
I have a little happy funny one.
Okay.
So this I got told when I always used to do club activities around where I live. And one of the people working there actually had a fun story. And we all thought, oh my god, this is going to be a scary story. Oh my god. And it was like, the time rings 9, the time rings 10, everything is quiet. The time rings 11, the time rings midnight. Suddenly you hear a woman scream, "Honey, you're farting!" And we all literally jumped out of our seats like, wait, what? Huh?
That's horrible.
Oh, dear.
That person literally scared the living shit out of every child nearby. But it was like those stories that was just... Even like the ones I told these guys, I told about like the ghost with one blue eye. So a couple's check into a hotel room. They get ready for the night, and all of a sudden they hear a voice from a closet saying, "I'm the ghost with one eye, get out!" And they, of course, getting scared, they leave. The next day, a new couple comes in, get ready for the night, and about to go to sleep. Again, a voice comes from the closet saying, I'm the ghost with one blue eye. Get out! And they're scared shitless. Gets out. And of course, the rumors has been going by, and so a new couple tries. The day after that, it's ready for bed, is about to close their eyes and fall asleep. And surely enough, they hear from the closet, I'm the ghost with one blue eye. And before the ghost can say, shh, get out, the man gets up and says, if you don't shut up, you're gonna be the ghost with two blue eyes.
I have got a funny one. It was the a story of there was some in the UK you got something called Cub Scouts, and they do like camping trips and things like that. But this scout group were out camping in the forest one night, and they decided to go hiking late at night. Well, they came across this cave. It was all quite dark and ominous, and they started venturing their way in, slowly creeping in, and all of a sudden they heard a voice, and it said, first I'll eat your head, then I'll eat your body. With that, they freaked out and ran off. So then they thought, right, okay, no, this is silly, we got to go and have a look. So they went in one more time to have a look. Again, they heard the voice, first I'll eat your head, then I'll eat your body. That was it. They freaked out. They ran off and ran back to camp, screaming, crying, calling the scout leader.
I know this one.
The scout leader said, okay, right, we're going to have a look. We're going to have a proper look. So they went in.
Yeah.
They took torches and all sorts. So this time, so they could probably see. So again, they were looking around. They heard, first I'll eat your head, then I'll eat your body. They were freaking out. The scout leader was freaking out, but they said, no, we've got to find out what's going on. So they ventured deeper and deeper into the cave. And again, they heard it again. First I'll eat your head, then I'll eat your body. Again, freaking out like mad, but they still ventured further into the cave. And they realised they could hear it from behind a rock. So gingerly they looked behind the rock, and there was one of the Cub Scouts sat there eating a bag of jelly babies, saying, first I'll eat your head, then I'll eat your body.
I actually have one about a mouse.
A mouse? No!
Why
You have pick on mouse.
Yeah.
No.
I guess somehow this is in the bedroom. I don't know why.
Huh?
Yeah, it's always in the bedroom. I don't know, like, man farting,
We don't have that reputation.
blue eyes. But, okay. So there was this woman. She was trying to go to bed. She was almost ready and everything, closed her eyes, and she hears a voice. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. She gets scared, run down and said, I'm not going to sleep there tonight. But still, she gets curious. So the next night, she tries again. Surely enough, soon as she's about to fall asleep, she hears the voice again. Here it comes. Here it comes. Here it comes. No, she's too freaked out. She runs downstairs. I ain't having it. But then she decides the next day, okay, this time I need to know what's happening. So she goes under her covers and just pretend to be sleeping. Sure enough, the voice comes again. Here it comes. Here it comes. Here it comes. But this time, she try not to panic. And she can kind of figure out where the voice is coming from. It's underneath her bed. So she, slowly scoots down, look underneath her bed. And a little mouse sitting on his putty says, here it comes! Here it comes! Here it comes! Yes!
No!
Well, if it has trouble
dear.
pooping! It took
Not
a
that I'm
3
talking from
days.
total experience. Yeah.
It needs some X-Lax. That'll sort that out.
Yes.
You would just go.
I tell you what.
I'm on a highway to the toilet.
Gotta go.
I tell you what.
That was perfect. I'll give you that. Do that again.
I gotta
Okay.
Like when I rhyme.
Yeah, what?
With the wave of my finger and a flick of my dick, one zap from me will kill you quick. So get on your knees, suck and blow. But not right now. I got to go.
That is scary right there. That is scary.
Monetize. That we are talking about monetization.
Well, that's out the window officially.
And that's the end of the thing. Just as soon as he starts speaking.
Exactly.
Get out of the
Tell you
noodle.
what.
I think we need to end this noodle.
Well, I've got one more
No one
story
else-
which
It's
ends on a
time for
happy
the
note.
end.
Okay.
I have got one more story which ends on a happy note.
Hurry, because I have to pee
Bye.
like a mouse. Well, sorry. It was.
I will try, but I think you'd like this one, Toki. Back in the early 1990s, there was a new striving artist trying to make way in New York. Must have been she must have been into her mid to late 40s.
Mhm.
And she is expecting her mother to come along and be her model for her paintings. But in the meantime, she has to make do. One day, while going through a park, she comes across an old woman, sweet as sugar and as soft as a daisy. So she asks this old woman if she would like to pose for her paintings. Modern technology really screws with you, mind you. So this elderly woman comes back to her studio and agrees to sit in the chair to be painted.
Mhm.
And as she's painting away, she ensures that everything is to scale. Every facial feature, every fibre on her clothes, everything.
Mhm.
When they're finished, the woman under the studio lights was a bit hot, so she took her jacket off. And the painter noticed a tattoo on her hand. And she asked how she got it. And she said that she was a survivor from Auschwitz. And that she
my.
keeps this tattoo as a reminder to know that whoever sees this tattoo will know that those atrocities will never be committed again. She explains to her that she had lost her whole family in Auschwitz, her children, her husband, her siblings. And then a couple of days go by, and the girl's mother comes up to her studio, finally arriving in New York. She sees the painting, and it is so beautiful. An exact copy. An exact... You would think it was a photo. The detail was that superb. Her mother just glared at the photo, as if she had just saw something that hadn't been found. If that makes sense to anyone.
If she's seen the
So
ghost.
she asks if she can meet this woman. Yes. So she asks if she could see this woman. Her daughter takes her to the park, to where they find the old woman sitting on a bench, waiting. They meet up, and her mother goes up to the woman and just gently looks at her. And the next thing you hear come out of her mouth was, "Mama?"
Oh no.
They looked at each other and realized that old woman was the painter's grandmother. She thought she had lost her daughter in Auschwitz, when no, she was actually saved by defecting Nazi officers.
God.
Oh, that is awesome.
Mm.
And to anyone that actually wants to look into more of that, there's actually based on a true story of Oskar Schindler, who actually saved thousands of Jews from concentration camps.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yes. I actually
So,
seen the
three
movie that they made not
generations
too long ago. It
reunited.
was amazing. Really, that is
Three
so
generations
cool.
reunited, a grandmother, a mother, and a painter, all reunited together. Painter didn't even know that was
Jesus.
her grandmother,
Oh, that is awesome.
because the old woman thought she had lost her whole family in the death camps,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and the painter's mother thought she had lost her mother in the death camp. They hadn't seen each other for 50, 60 years, between 50 and 60 years.
Oh my word. That is
Jesus.
cool. Mm-hmm. That is cool.
One had talk about
I like
one hell
that
of a
story.
reunion, eh?
No kidding. Well, does anyone else have any stories, or are we around the table?
Bibbidi bobbidi boo.
I think
I have to pee, so I gotta go.
Well, thank you so
I
much for
think
joining
we're
us on this special edition of the 6873 Show, Halloween edition. We actually had a fundraiser yesterday for Halloween. So we actually did raise money for animals in need. In fact, I think we've got a couple of shelters lined up we're going to be giving it to. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope to see you next year for our next event. We're actually going to be hosting more events through the holiday season for Christmas and a few other events to help people in need also. So please be looking forward to that. Anything you can help with us is a great help. And like, subscribe, and share with everyone. And we'll actually be posting some of the pictures and stuff that we actually took from the haunted house. So enjoy. Until next week, everyone, have a spooky new year.
Take care and be safe.
Two
our
little
little
pip.
potato chips.
Oh.
Oh, I hate.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. This is yikes.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Ah.
Even though it's like 12 at night. See, I know that this is a person, but I'm afraid that they're gonna move. I don't know why. Wow. You know what? I'm gonna look at these pictures.
You know what that is? That's the Russian sleep experiment.
Hello, everybody, and this is the 6873 show from our Halloween event. We had a great turnout. We actually had a donation done for animals in needs. And Ren, you have the number, if I'm not mistaken. Nice. Thank you guys so much out there. We really had fun scaring the crap out of people. And I hope you will go in and watch the show. We will be including this into the show as well. Please love, like, and subscribe. And to all our potato chips out there, we love you. Take care and be safe. Lots of love.